Welcome back, brothers, to a very special episode of the Hall of Game. We are back with another live stream. For those of you who were on my last channel, was highly entertaining. But today we'll be talking about something a little bit more serious. And shout out to a brother that sent me an email earlier. And this is typically Gabe will pick 85% of topics, and I might pick, I don't know, 10 or 15% of this sort of content. It's pretty much dominated by Gabe. This is pretty much Gabe creates the content for the most of the Hall of Games. But I got this email. Let me just read this real quick, Gabe. And this brother wrote it to me. I will not say his name. It says, "Dear O'Shea, given your streams with Brother Gabe on tech and helping out brothers, I figured that this might be a topic that's probably rumble worthy, given it's a story about the African tech startup industry and how foreigners are taking over Black startups and screwing over the Black founders out the business, like in this brother's case. The vibrant Kenyan tech startup ecosystem has lots of Kenyan founders, yet it's always been dominated by foreign funded partners and firms, which makes it hard for local partners and founders to fight for their rights. Case in point, in 2017, Mr. Kennedy Nganga, I don't know, am I saying that right, Gabe? Nganga? Ganga? I don't know if the N is silent. It could be either Nganga or Nganja or I don't know. A geospatial engineer launched Safi Analytics, a smart metering startup for the agro sector, alongside two foreign nationals, including one Miss Lauren Dunford. During the first year, while Ken worked on developing the prototype, Lauren went back to Stanford to finish her MBA. In 2018, the firm raised $200 million in capital, and that's when Lauren Dunford and the second partner tried to push Ken out of the company. They have since upped the pressure on him to resign, which is Mr. Kennedy Nganga, and relinquish his stake in claiming the company. This is despite him being the brains behind the product development. Okay, so once this was sent to me, I immediately sent it over to the brothers in the Hall of Game think tank, if you will, Brother Gabe. And this is outside of our realm, but Gabe is an engineer and he's much smarter than me. So because of that, we're gonna rely on his intelligence. So if the show fails, it is his fault.
What you mean?
Right. So with that being said, what up, Brother Iceberg, Mac? Welcome. My name is O'Shea Jackson. Gabe, go ahead and introduce yourself, brother, to the people.
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name is Gabriel Agrucci. Oh, what's good? Maurice, good. We got somebody else.
Hey, what's going on? Y'all
you taking the fall tonight if this show is fucked up.
Go ahead.
You taking the fall, nigga.
Hey, so my name is Gabriel Agrucci. Background in electrical engineering. Transition over into cybersecurity for industrial environments. Currently in school, working as a consultant.
Right.
Full time. So, making it happen, but very much so in that kind of tech, cybersecurity, engineering kind of combination as a profession. So that's who I am.
Okay. Brother Maurice.
Hey, this is Maurice Novembre. I'm a senior UX UI designer, also an entrepreneur. I create digital products, everything from mobile apps to websites to video games. Very interested in about this topic because I'm actually headed to South by Southwest to pitch a business idea with a mentor of mine. So I'm very excited to be talking about this.
Okay. And basically, I'm O'Shea Duke Jackson. I'm a nigga-preneur, I guess. My claim to fame is social media content creation. I do it specifically for Black men. Now I'm trying my at least, obviously I'm a student, but in this sector, I do it African American male centered content. I try to reach all corners of it. Now I'm trying my hands in the African market with some things that are going on there on the continent as a different market, different challenge. But my success has been on social media content creation to reach certain demographics. I can do it for almost any demographic you tell me. I create content for different, shows, comedy, entertainment. I'll create content for people as I've created real estate shows in Africa. I've created comedy series here. I do it for other people that don't know that I'm doing it. So that's my thing. I write, I create, I write comic books and things like that. So that's just, creative, okay, if you will. So that's what my thing is. All right, let's get into the situation now. Maurice, I don't know if you heard the email, but Brother Gabe. So basically, Kenya. Let me just give people a little history about Kenya. Kenya is probably the most technically advanced country in the East African community. Probably outside of South Africa, maybe the most successful country in the world when it comes to internet speed in the continent, when it comes with technical startups in the continent. They're leaps and bounds of above Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania. They're just on another level. They've benefited also by never having a military coup like Uganda has and so many other countries that have been destabilized. They've been allowed to develop infrastructures which create the systems where you can have startups, which you don't really see a lot in Uganda and other places in the continent. So Kenya has this unique advantage. Now, also, like in the Black community in America, in Kenya, you do see a lot of people, because there were a lot of whites that stayed in there because Jomo Kenyatta didn't kick whites out of the country after colonialism. They stayed. You have white Kenyans that are actually like a tribe in Kenya, almost, if you will. You have a lot of Indians. So these people that are there, you can say they have rights to ownership in businesses and entrepreneurship. They've been there for many years. This is unique, though. A guy started this company. We read the email in 2017, some time ago. And all the startups that these Africans are trying to make to revitalize their economy, to basically hire other Blacks, are being bought out or being ran by multinationals or other foreigners. This is similar to what's happening in the Black community. Like the hip hop industry was started by African Americans and some Caribbean Blacks, and then that was then owned by Interscope and places like that. But then whenever Blacks in Kenya are starting these tech startups, they're being pushed out. Now look at this. What happened? One lady was in the MBA program. She got onto this tech startup and then went back to Stanford and got $200 million worth of funding. Came back and tried to kick the guy out of his business. So I guess my topic today is, should you be looking to do business with white people knowing how they think in business in America? So, I mean, that's the main topic. Can Black men really trust white people in these sorts of business collaborations or business partnerships?
Gabe, you want to go first?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think this is a really interesting.
Don't fuck up.
I think this is a really interesting type of situation because there was actually because I was doing a little bit more of research as it concerns this particular business. So the name of the business is the Safi Analytics, right? And what they do is that their product is actually what you call it has like kind of like a sensing device for industrial environments. So what it is that they use what you call like current transformers. So transformers are like electrical components that have the ability to step up or increase or step down particular voltage, current type of parameters for electrical circuits and overall electronics. So what it is that this particular Safi Analytics, they use current transformers in order to produce a sensing capability for industrial environments. So say, for instance, you have something like a machine, right, that is an industrial environment, and it pretty much seals all of the bags of Flamin' Hot Cheetos in the business, right? So it's pretty much a big machine that just has a sealing capability. So it receives a certain amount of voltage and current, certain amount of rated voltage and current in order to produce that particular output of work. It needs to seal, 1,000 bags in 10 minutes. So what this particular Safi Analytics would do in that particular case, that it would be there sitting in series between whatever the generation or the input power and that particular machine. And what it would do is that it will monitor the particular voltage and current and power that is going into that machine. And what it's looking for are particular anomalies or things that are happening in this system so that companies are able to predict, hey, is something about to go wrong, right? Are there some type of anomalous like inrush current? So inrush current is one thing, right? So that can be, so typically when you unplug and plug something back in, there's what you call something called an inrush current, so which is a pretty high peak or a spike of current that is shot into a machine, right? So this particular Safi Analytics solution will be able to monitor that or be able to give some analysis behind what's actually happening in that environment. So not only does it have that sensing capability, but it looks like it has some ability to be able to email. So this particular data that it's getting from the industrial environment is sending that back up to the cloud where it's able to send out emails. It has some type of, look like a tablet type of interface, which you can kind of map certain historical data about the health of the devices. So that was some of the background that I saw about this. I wouldn't say it's particularly innovative. I think it's something that a lot of companies are looking to do. I've seen a lot of these type of solutions out there, but yeah, so that's kind of the background about this.
Well, let me ask you this,
pass it on for y'all to.
It might be innovative, but maybe in the market that he's in, that probably he might be one of the first people to actually be able to get it accomplished in that area, right?
So and that's where I was trying to figure out: is this going into Kenyan organizations or Kenyan places, or is it in the U.S.? I wasn't able to find a clear case for that. They did say that it works. They have use cases in plastics and pharmaceuticals, steel, paint and resin, and cement and milling. They have it in several applications, but I don't know if it's specifically on the continent or if it's in the US. But the thing about it is that the business is in both. So they have the business registered in Kenya. They also have the business registered in the US. And that's where the primary funding came from. So
and Gabe, real quick question. What's the projected income for saving on maintenance and wear and tear on equipment costs?
Oh, millions. I mean, over a year, millions. I think that they actually have some analytics down to how much they were able to save. They were saying that they were able to save, for one organization, were able to achieve like a 10% energy cost and and increase in production for that particular organization, which is $100,000 a year, which is good, especially for a small scale business. And for another one, they were saying $150K over the year because they were able to evaluate when a machine was about to fail. So they were able to replace it quickly and bring that operation right back into production. So
one of my mentors, he's a risk analyst. The biggest chunk of money he saves companies is equipment repair and parts costs.
Absolutely.
He'll save a company about $1 to $2 million a year if he can narrow down with data on where they're eating the most of their lunch at.
Absolutely. And especially in industrial environments, because everything pretty much hinges on your product or your production continuing. So if there are any stops in production where time is money, right? You need to, like I said, you got the Cheeto zipping machine. If they're not able to output a certain amount of Cheetos in a certain amount of time, they can't get it to market. That brings down their ability or their amount that they're able to give out as it concerns product, which bites into their overall revenue. So keeping those processes running efficiently on time contributes directly to their money output.
All right, man. Thank you for that clarification.
Let me do this real quick. And Brother Sub-Zero's coming on. Keep it techie. Is going to come on. Shout out to Engineering Cannabis. Thank you. PM, a white mentor tried to steal my business model. Okay. Oh shit, let's get these smart brothers to discuss some ninja shit. All right. Let's go to Brother Darren. Brother Darren, thank you, brother, for coming. I know you've been busy as of late. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. You know, I told you I was gonna come back, but I've been, handling some projects, and I'll let you know about my project.
Brother, go ahead on and build on the topic, brother.
Hey, so I mean, man, I'm coming in late. So I got the emails, I watched the video that you sent, and the vibe that I got from the video is what it comes down to is infrastructure. I know that America has a stronger infrastructure than the place that he's at in Africa, which is Kenya. So I mean, whoever basically has the most power, which it looks like is America, and just like Gabe said, America's putting the most money into the project. So regardless of what he does in the court legal system, The legal system in business as well. When it comes down to is who has the most resources, and not, that's just the way it works, man. Whether you're here in America or you there, if you're building a business with somebody, and somebody on your team, especially if they come from a school like a Harvard or a Yale or a Stanford, they have more resources than you. They're in a position where they can leverage. They have more power, and they can ultimately kind of push you aside.
Okay. Let me ask you this also. Let's go to Brother Maurice. Maurice, what are your thoughts on this? I didn't see actually the video, but I did read the thing. What do you think about this, brother?
It's because I'm entering the space now, pitching business ideas to venture capital right now. So that's a concern. They got the pockets, resources, and power. You got the idea, and then you got to be a little bit more pragmatic entering those spaces. I'm being taught that now by a mentor. It's be open for everything, but be cautious in how you kind of strategize and what you offer to partners with money. But be in a position where, you don't take a big loss, but at the same time, you're not walking into things. And the bottom line is, to what Darren said, it's business. These things will happen. So, figure out the best places to spend your energy. And be pragmatic and look at all aspects and don't take anything personal. Will be a part of the best, what I'm being taught now. Because, we can get caught up in emotion with our ideas and not understanding that somebody could take it and actually take it to the next level without you at times. And that's a possibility. So kind of look at all pieces and aspects of what you do, and then be honest with yourself on what part you truly play. And then what opportunities and aspects do your partners open up for you? And then can you remain relevant in the way the team is moving? Just some things to think about.
And that right there is the link for the response from the founders, or one of the founder, right? The one that's actually being sued. Just wanted to throw that up there to get some context.
Okay. Go ahead, brother Sub-Zero.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
What's up?
What's up, Maurice? What's up with you, man? Maurice been helping me on the back, develop my stuff on the back end with my Lifting the Veil IT Academy. So we've been kind of working together. I met up with him one time. We've been talking. I talked to him. I just had a lot of work to do before I called him. But anyway.
I want to hear about that too. I want to hear a little bit about that.
One brick or two. That's all.
Yeah, Maurice been a great help, man. Bouncing ideas off him. I just had to do a lot of the code myself. It wasn't too much he could do with that, and I just stood my server up the other day and got that did as well. So I'm ready now. But let me say this.
Oh, my bad, man. I want to ask you about that, but I'll let you get into this topic, and then I'll ask you after you finish saying what you have to say.
Okay, so guys, I've kind of had some of this experience. What happened, I made a real stupid choice. There was this guy who used to be a drug dealer that I played ball with. Now he wasn't a colonizer, right? But he was a brother. And we played ball. He was older. I heard he used to sell drugs back in the day. And so we would play ball. He seemed real laid back, nice guy, never got too crazy or anything. We went into business. When I did my comedy club, I ran out of money with my last little bit of real estate money. I brought him in. He came in with a piece of money, just a few $1,000s to help me kind of get things going. And the next thing you know, it went from there to eventually we were 50-50. And it was because I didn't have any money. The business was a fledgling business. I was kind of ignorant to the whole comedy club space and thought it would go like a regular club. It doesn't, especially in a city like Montgomery, Alabama. So that kind of, me and him kind of fell out at the end. But the thing was, I left that wiser, understanding that when you come into a business situation and somebody else has the money and all you have is the idea and they're able to come in and fund it, a lot of times you really have no leverage. It's very, although you can get everything in writing, you can be protected, but obviously there's a lawsuit. So obviously they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're fighting them. It depends on how much money he has at his disposal. Can he mount a legal fight for this long? What if they outlast him? Because that's what they do in court a lot of times. And so, my situation was much smaller, but I'm just telling you guys, when it comes to doing business with people, and that's why I think black people, that's the same thing with integration. I think black people came into a situation in integration, and I think that's what you see is the same. It's a microcosm of what we've dealt with trying to integrate with a much stronger, wealthier society. We'll have ideas, businesses. Look at music. Look at the music industry. We have great ideas in music. What happens? Look, even sports. If you look at the NBA, it's ran by a certain group of a race of people who remain nameless. But
we work as workers. We don't invest in our own institutions. That's basically the problem. So we don't.
Exactly. I was talking to a brother the other day. Brother the other day told me that same thing. He was like talking about how he can make money. I was like, that's cool, but you still have to punch a clock. You're time peddling. You have to sell your time for it. Mm-hmm. And so that's the thing, man. When you go into any business situation with anybody from any other race, or anybody, period, if you don't have cash, that's why I don't like partnering with people unless I have. If we both put money up, that's different. But if I come off the street and hey, man, I got an idea, people tend to, when they put money in something, tend to want to swing their weight around a little bit. That's just, I put the money up. I had me and one of my closest friends fell out over that because he put the money up, but I introduced him to all the information that he knew nothing about, that he would not have even been thinking about. Once he got the information, we didn't have anything in writing. He said, well, hey, man, I don't really need you. I'm like, what do you mean you don't need me? I gave you everything. You didn't know anything. But that's how it becomes. That's what we didn't have anything technically. He didn't wind up doing it, but the fact that he even said that speaks volumes.
Hey, Sub, go back and say what you said again. You said do what and what? Do what and you used the big old W word. What was that again?
What about my friend?
Yeah, you didn't get what, and you said you didn't get what in writing.
You didn't have the information. You didn't have the wherewithal. He didn't know anything. I showed him everything. He was, in fact, he didn't even. It actually was just. I could say what it is. It was a kiosk in the mall. I had went and got everything. He wasn't thinking like this. So he was calling me like, man, I got like $10,000 left over from real estate. The market's bad right now, man. I wish I knew something I can do. And so I said, I tell you what, brother, check this out. We got in the car, rode to Atlanta. I took him to the America's Mart. We went in there when they had one of those exposés. I got him in under my business license, walked him around, introduced him to the different vendors, took him to the mall. Like the next week, we went there, sat down. I showed him everything. I said, this is how much it's going to cost. Christmas is coming up. This is how much money you can make in the month of December. And I think we can righteously make this amount of money. I said, look, man, you put the money up. I'll work. I'll work it. It's my idea. I'll work it. We go 50-50, which I didn't think that was an unfair thing because it wasn't nothing but about the whole business was like $5,000, which we would both wipe our ass with maybe 8 months prior to that. We would wipe our ass with $5,000. But I was broke and he was kind of like that too. So he was like, no, man, I think it should go 70-30. I'm like, what? I done gave you everything. Well, that's just information. It ain't worth all that. So we got in that situation. So I was upset because I was like, dude, I don't need you. I took you up and introduced you to people and showed you everything.
Let me do this. Let me go to life for business. This is why we have contracts. People never read anything. That's why people always getting P Diddy. Let me talk about that because I think something similar. All right. This is a kind of hard topic for me because I've never experienced anything like this on this scale. I mean, I don't know. Maybe closest might be like a Sub-Zero. I've never experienced anything like this, so this is very hypothetical. But I will say, if you're a person and you're talented and you coming from, a place where you have an idea that's a really good idea, and you have a skill set, but let's say you don't really know how the business works. Let's talk about what's the guy that does Facebook? What's his name?
Zuckerberg
comes up with this great idea how to connect students through college campuses through Facebook when I was at Howard. Then it expanded to everybody. Once Facebook started to take off, he knew how Facebook worked. He did not know how big corporate business worked. You understand what I'm saying? And so just because you have a big idea and it does very well, all of the other things that constitute big corporation business, taxes, entities, whatever that you made, things I have nothing about. Now you're on a different level of playing field where you don't know how these things work. Even though you have a good business and a great thing, you don't know how to maintain it and keep these things successful. Because there are a lot of businesses that fail, not because they were not successful, it's just because they didn't know how to manage their success.
I think this is very like reminiscent of some historical events that have happened. I mean, everybody knows about Tesla, right? The huge company, right, owned by Elon Musk, but not many people or really have an idea about who Nikola Tesla was, right? He was pretty much the innovator behind current electricity, right? And absolutely.
He got screwed with his idea too.
He got screwed. I mean, he was a mass innovator, individual who pretty much pushed forward the field of electronics, electromagnetism. I mean, AC power, alternating current. There was a time where it was a battle between Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison between DC, which is one form of power delivery, and AC, right? And this individual, Nikola Tesla, he was a mass innovator, but he did not have that business acumen. He was pretty much like he had so many ideas, but he died broke. He did not have anything to leave to his family and anything to his name by the time he died.
I think he designed the radio too. He designed a few things. He was pretty one of the major innovators, but he didn't get any credit. So
that goes back to that idea, right?
Screwed himself
that goes
too,
right back to that idea.
I think he kind of screwed himself too, because he gave a lot of his shares to Westinghouse to help save Westinghouse. And then when he got bought out from JP Morgan, Westinghouse ain't showing him no love. But
that was a promise too, right? By Westinghouse that he was going to give him a certain amount. Like he had a contract where he was supposed to get, I don't know, every so cents for every particular watt hour that was used of alternating current or something like that. But there was a clause in there that he broke if he did some other projects. Can't remember all the exact details, but I think that goes back kind of even to this situation with that lack of business acumen, where you're not able to really bank off of your ideas and your innovations.
O'Shea, I wanted to comment on your what you said about Zuckerberg. You know, when you were helping me out with my business, I was creating that mobile app, right? So then I actually reached out to a few VCs, and when I did all that, I was actually doing some background research on other entrepreneurs, and most entrepreneurs, what I saw was they, like, at the end of the day, after they got the investments and their company has grown and they're making millions, billions of dollars, most of those founders only get about 7% of the company. And that's pretty And that's pretty common, but they're making millions and billions of dollars. So it's a lot, it just tells you how much is in the pot. But Zuckerberg, compared to other founders, is making about 25 to 30%. So what that tells you is that Zuckerberg, going into these negotiations, he actually brought some money to the table. So I'm just basically saying he had more help than we know he had, than we think we had. And then also, he had a lot of court cases because of people who came up with the Facebook idea. I think those two twins, they kind of sued because they thought they got screwed on the idea because they thought Zuckerberg was just going to help them build it, but they didn't have as much, leverage in the beginning. But my point is, going into any kind of negotiation process, the most important thing that you want to have, you do want to have some kind of traction, so it shows that people are using it, but also you need to have some kind of finances that you're bringing to the table as well. Because if you don't have anything at the beginning, people are not going to work with you.
Also, Zuckerberg had an access, being that he was a small hat, had access to a business network that is vast. When they go in business, they can access stuff at a level that we don't even can't fathom.
Yeah, and a lawyer in my past experience is one of the most upfront cost things you got to come up with out of pocket. When I was doing publishing,
Sure.
A minimum to get our contracts reviewed for a lawyer and publishing around IPs was minimum $1,500 to $2,500, and that was just to review paperwork without even building hourly. So
let me just finish what I just said because it gave us. I'm gonna come back to you guys, but okay, same thing with like you said. Most CEOs don't own. Even the guy that Serena Williams is with, the Reddit guy, he owns like very little of the company also now. So here's the situation. Here's the question I have for people. You have this business that works because even on what's that show that you have to go on and prove your idea is very popular. I forgot what it's called.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't.
Shark Tank.
Just Shark Tank.
Okay. Yeah. Even with the people that get on Shark Tank, actually to get on Shark Tank, if I'm not mistaken, you have to have at least some form of success that you're doing well in the business, right? In order for you to get money. And even then, when you need money, the guys are trying to lowball you for like the majority of your business. I noticed that. But I want to go back to this. What happens when you are trying to get the business and you're blowing up, but then you need money to go to the next level? Then what? That's the question, because as you can see, this guy had a great idea. He was getting off the ground, but then the lady, it's not her fault that she went to Stanford, and it's not her fault that she could raise $200 million either. Black people, we don't have that access. How do we control the majority of our stuff? But because obviously if we do it, we'll have it, but it will be small. It won't go to where it could go, right? We could run it, but it won't expand. You need more support to make it expand. So that's the decision. Do I keep it and keep it small and it expands when it can, or do I go ahead and take this loan, whatever, and make it expand, and then maybe get pushed out? And then who do I trust after that?
Well, the thing is, I think that when you build a business, you have to have a long-term vision of what you want to do with the business and be realistic of how much you want to get out of the business. You know what I'm saying? Because when you have a business and say it's growing by yourself, say it's growing and it's like $1 million, $1 billion business, by nature, it's going to have some kind of competition. So if you go into this business by yourself, it's going to fail because you're going to get sued. You're going to have a gang of people coming after you. So the business can grow with you, but the purpose of actually having people invest in your business is that you have people who protect you. So that's basically what you need to think of when you're going into business. You're like, okay, how much am I willing to give up? And then also by teaming with this person, how much revenue can we actually get that offsets my losses and then, protects me in the long run from basically, lawsuits? Because that's going to happen, period. So you're screwing yourself if you stay by yourself. And basically, yeah, that's my point.
Well, what I've been learning of recent, to add to what you're saying, is I'm more preoccupied with the people and the process, not the product. So I know if I can be successful in this venture, I can be successful in any venture. So if it's a widget or a hamburger to making a medical supply company, I'm more preoccupied at this stage in my career and working with good people that I can trust. And that's kind of my mindset moving into this venture I'm going into now. I think the past, I've been preoccupied with this ideal of my idea versus our idea that we can learn from and grow from and all eat from. So, I'm being a little bit more pragmatic and kind of offering ideas to the team and then making sure that I incentivize them with I incentivize my team with what we all have to offer. It's my idea going forward.
Let me Keep It Techie. Thank you, Tony, for the $49.99. Let me let Keep It Techie go ahead and join the conversation. Go ahead, Keep It Techie.
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
All right.
So just to get back to the original question on the topic, in my eyes, it doesn't matter the race. Is being a business owner, which I never have been a business owner, but based on what I've seen from the people that I know that have businesses and all that, it's a cutthroat business. You know what I'm saying? It's cutthroat all the time. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really look at who you could trust in these situations, as well as, you know, have a lawyer, you know, to look over everything. And I apologize. I never like did the whole business thing. I tried at one point. I tried to do a web design business, so I went through the whole process to set that up. And you just really got to. It doesn't matter the race. It's just cutthroat, man. I mean, no matter who it is, you know, somebody will screw you over. It don't matter who it is, the race, background, whatever. Especially in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you're talking about like overseas, they have different laws in place when it comes to business. Where, you know, I mean, it's all right, man. That's all I'm gonna say right now.
Yeah, I do think the principle that kind of comes out. I think.
Hold on, keep it taking. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a principle that comes out here is, and I think a lot of brothers have been saying it in similar ways, but I think it really comes out here in the idea, and even who gave this advice? Was it Warren Buffett, who spoke about how millionaires have multiple streams of income, right? And I think that really plays into the principle of not having a single point of failure. So think about it in this particular way, from a practical standpoint. If you are investing in a particular business, or you're going into one business, I think a lot of times black folk, we get the mindset that it's all or nothing. This is my chance. This is it. I'm putting everything I got into this one bucket, and then I'm pushing this thing forward with everything I have, with my drive, with my determination, with my energy, and with my money. That's it. But I don't think that that's the right perspective to have, especially when going into business. I think having those multiple streams of income, where even if one particular stream fails, you still have multiple streams to back up that your other endeavors. So I think that can be a principle that comes out here. Is just the idea that don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Don't focus in on one thing, but rather diversify your investments, diversify your business, so that even if one doesn't go the way that you desire to go, you still have fallback plans, and not only one, but multiple fallback plans where you're able to re-up and be able to retool to go forward with something positive. So.
I agree with that. I agree. I think you do need to have multiple streams. There's a dilemma because I think sometimes, just from my past experiences of business and stuff like that, I feel like sometimes if you half-ass one of them, because a lot of times I can't do 40 businesses. I have to do one at a time. I can probably kind of do one on the side, you know, and then I got a job, I got other stuff. You got other stuff you do. So by the time you do all that, sometimes you'll have a business, it's a success. For example, I got into selling cars, right? I was doing that on the side. Auto dealers, business school, Shamel Leonard paid her the money. And I went to the auction, bought a few cars, dabbled in it. And I found myself like, damn, I really don't have the time to really put the dedication to it that I need to, although it does make money, but you have to kind of budgeting time. And also when you make money, not spend it. That's one of the biggest things. When I flipped houses, I made real good. I made $600,000 in 2006, but the problem was I lived off the money. Now, had I not lived off any of that money and had I been in tech back then in 2006, I would have been a millionaire, because I would have took that money and did apartments, which is what I wanted to get in. But what stopped me was me living off. I make $600,000. I'm all over the country. I'm all over the world, going to celebrity birthday parties, doing dumb shit, you know, going all over to Africa, going to London, Brazil. I was everywhere, you know, and because, you know, I was living off the money. So it takes discipline. And I mean, money management goes into it. I think the ability to know when to let a business go is smart. I think that's why I don't believe in chasing your passion. I don't believe in follow your passion. I know y'all probably gonna disagree with that, but I don't believe in it. I think You know, if it's your passion to be one of the singers on American Idol, if your ass can't sing, you can't sing. You know, and you see people on there crushed. Like, it could be your passion, it's just not there for you. But you may have some other opportunity that's a great opportunity, but you don't want that. So you have to kind of be smart and know when to let go of something that you may really want to do, and when to go after something that is an opportunity, and have the intelligence to be able to identify and distinguish the two.
Hey, Sub-Zero, hey, I'm gonna take off, guys, in a minute, but I want to know, Sub-Zero, what is your business idea about? What you working on? You have to say too much about it, but you said you do something.
No, I mean, everybody knows I have Lifting the Veil IT Academy. I've been training students for about the last 2 years. I'm getting more and more students getting jobs. I got like a few of them that haven't given testimonials, but about once a month somebody gets a job, you know. And I'm just kind of right now, as I'm sitting here, I'm sitting in front of Camtasia, ripping my videos into MP4 files, getting them ready to be uploaded to a website. I'm going to do tests, quizzes. I'm going to do nightly lectures. So it's going to be instructor led, but it's going to be subscription based through like Thinkific. So I'm trying to set all that up. And it's just instead of just teaching with GoToMeeting and just lecturing myself, I'm going to still lecture. I'll still give people ideas, because I think being instructor led, when I was getting into IT, I couldn't get in because I felt like reading a book, not everybody can watch videos and read books. Some people might want somebody they can talk to and ask questions, because you'll watch videos and it doesn't tell you what you want to know. You ask a developer with 10 years experience, oh yeah, that's this, and all you have to do is know, oh, okay. And that could save you reading for 2 days, trying to figure something out. So that's why I think instructor-led courses are the way to go. I just think they're too expensive. My competition is $20,000. So I see people out here like mycomputercareer.edu is charging ridiculous amounts. So yeah, it's a space, I think, for that, for subscription-based, instructor-led, and that's where I'm trying to go. So, you know, I built everything out. That's what really took so long. That's what I'm trying to do.
I've been I actually been building courses too. I've been creating mobile design development courses. And I was telling O'Shea about it. I sent it to him, and I got a few students that's been teaching my courses, but I've been figuring out better ways to do it or whatnot. And I was actually in the middle of building the course right now. I mean, I could share the thing with y'all. You know, I'm not tripping off that.
Yeah, you can share this stuff. The knowledge is what's really. I can share something with you, but if you're not a developer and you don't understand ETL and you know all this other stuff I'm talking about, it, you know, I can show it to you, but it's a lot of work. I mean, it's taken me 6 months to do this, so it took me a while to do all this.
ETL, so you do like database stuff, APIs?
Yeah, I'm a BI developer, business intelligence, and SQL Server database development.
Okay, that's what's up.
Like O'Shea dropped off for a second.
Sub, it's good to meet you though, bro. Like I've helped a couple of your students, like putting them in positions to try to get jobs. I'll be on the Black Brain Trust panel sometime, and I met a couple guys. Yeah, I'm a DBA as well. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they told me about you.
Yeah,
they told me a couple of times, man. They've been saying it. I just don't know. I didn't know where to go. But they sent me the link. I should have watched it. I watched one of them, but then I got sidetracked with some stuff. But I damn sure I had a few students mention about you guys.
Yeah, I think O'Shea dropped off for a second.
Hey, Sub-Zero, question. If you had to do it all over again with your understanding of the technology field, how would you have invested your money in any tech ideas outside of the apartment venture? How would you
You say invested my money as far as what?
Say we go back in time and you had the same money you had back then in real estate. What would you do now in this market for tech and STEM? Because I know you're working on the education piece. Do you see any other opportunities in tech that if you had the resources or money to throw at it, you would jump on it?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be completely honest. If I was starting from scratch and I had the money that I had in real estate, I would fly out there to I would fly out there to Palo Alto. I would go directly to Salesforce, and I would take all their stuff. I would try to be a Salesforce architect. You're looking at about $200 an hour, right there. If you become a Salesforce architect, it's only a few of those in the world. I would go straight to Salesforce, and it's probably for everything I just named. It would probably cost you about $25,000 to take all their courses straight out, and just to become a system. I think it's a system architect. You got two different types, but I would take all their courses, everything they offer, get all their certifications, and then I would be, because I mean, it's like being a doctor, but you're only paying about $25,000. From there, I would then go and just really start, use money management, man. It's to save your money. I mean, you're making $200 an hour on projects, $150, $200 an hour. I mean, that's what doctors make, so that's pretty good. So I would do that if I had to do it over. Now, as far as business, I would have to wait till I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't tell you as far as I would have to see the opportunity present itself. And I'm not in it like that. I'm in the other stuff. Like I do houses, I do real estate. So I'm flipping a house and I'm worried about trying to get somebody to install my damn HVAC unit right now. So that I'm kind of pulled in multiple directions.
Hey, appreciate that. I wasn't even thinking about Salesforce architecture, man. I didn't know about all that. Appreciate you for that, man.
Oh, go look it up. Go to the name of the website is Mason Frank, Mason MASON Frank FARNK. Go on there and look at what they pay Salesforce architects. If I could do it all over, the amount of money that I paid to get the skills I have, it was about 14. I financed it, but it was 14,000. If I had to go all over, I would definitely go with Salesforce, because I think Salesforce would really put me in a situation where it's in demand and it's not that many architects out there. So just off the top, you can come in and look, man, I need $220 an hour. This is what, and they'll pay it. So you're looking at $8,000 a week, $9,000 a week sometimes. Just good money, and that's how I would do it.
I'm about to drop that link in the chat for the brothers. So yeah, good. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. So I mean, I know a plastic surgeon that makes about $600,000-$700,000, but on average, I look plastic surgeons up, they make about $450,000 on average. So I mean, if you could become an architect for, plastic surgeon, just to become one, it's not even easy. I talked to O'Shea about that one time. You got to be the best of the best to even become one of those. Why would you even go? And then you got to worry about if you kill somebody. Now you lose your license. And look, man, you could go and spend $25,000, $30,000, go straight to Palo Alto and sit in their classrooms and learn directly from them. That's what I would do. And then at the end of the week, you take the certification test. If you don't pass, you're going to at least be halfway knowledgeable enough to get a job, number one. Secondly, you can probably charge what an architect would charge because you are knowledgeable now. You've been trained. Secondly, or thirdly, man, shoot, you pass that certification test. Now, just to take the top architect, it costs like $3,000 to take $2,000 or $3,000 just to take the test. And it's a panel discussion where you got to go before like damn near like a damn military tribunal or some shit and sit there and they ask you all types of logic questions and shit like that. But when you pass that, oh, you in there.
I mean, are you just doing sales at that point, or are you doing something beyond that?
Well, it's Salesforce, but you're an architect. You're a Salesforce architect. There's two different types. And then if you get both of those certifications, there's one more test to sit for. So it's like a pyramid. You go up one side of the pyramid, you become a system architect. You go up the other side, it's another type of architect. I forget what that one is. After you get both of those, then you go and sit before the panel and you become like, one of the top 10, 20 guys in there. It ain't that many people in the world that have that certification. So one guy, when I went to get my administrator certification, there was this guy, this Indian guy was in there. He had like 4 of them. He's like, I'm building my way up the pyramid. When you get to the top of that pyramid, now, yeah, it's expensive technically to get the training, or you could just go get the books, but it's not a lot of books out there for this stuff yet because it's so new. So if you go get that now, dude, like you really ahead of the game. Even if the market becomes saturated, because you are an architect and you were one years ago. It's just like my brother. You're not gonna get my brother for under $120 an hour. You're not gonna get it because he got hired by Oracle during the .com craze and went to Silicon Valley, which is hard to do, but he actually got on. So he got to make 200 or something a year. You can't get him for cheap. So yeah, I'm a little guy compared to my brother. But the architects, that's where I would go. But it's not easy. But I wouldn't try to study for it because if you try to study, can you do it the hard way and just study and go to websites and go to Trailhead? Yeah, you could, but damn that, man. I'm gonna go straight to the jugular. 5 days. I want to sit there. I want to take the test Friday. You teach me Monday, Friday, I'm sitting for the test. And you get a voucher when you take the training. So I already got the Salesforce administrator. That was actually what I was thinking about doing. I just don't want to be in IT no more. Yeah. But if I had to answer that question, Maurice just asked me, that's what I would do. Because you're looking at 400 to $500,000 salary. You can't beat that.
Hey guys, I'm about to take off. So I just want to say thanks for having me. And then I want to share with you what I'm doing right now. Currently, I'm actually building a mobile app right now. I don't know. Can you guys see my screen?
So
you can see.
We see you.
Oh, you see you. You see me, so you can't see my screen.
Yeah, I think at the bottom it's called screen share button. I think if you hit that.
Well, it shows I'm sharing right now.
You have to click it. You have to click when it say that, but then you have to click it, and then it'll come up, and then it'll share it.
Okay. I don't know what it's doing, but whatever. But hey, I gotta go. It's not working. But hey, I gotta get back to what I was doing. You guys have a good one.
All right, man. Yeah. All right. Good luck.
So kind of even back to some of the subject that we were talking about as it concerns the business. I think there are a lot of technology opportunities, even in areas of the brother from Kenya that had produced this particular technology. So a lot of what his background had to be in, especially using current transformers, was that in electronics, right? Electrical engineering, electronics. I think he had a degree in geospatial engineering. And I think that there are a lot of opportunities out there. A lot of times they do start off, especially when you get into some of that more specialty type of thing, really developing solutions. You're really starting off from somewhere with a bachelor's of electrical engineering or a master's of electrical engineering. And then you're kind of working your way up from there, where you're really not only getting the education, but you are gaining the capability to produce solutions. So like current transformers really are helpful in protective power electronics, right? That helps you to protect a lot of the different endpoint devices within a particular circuit, right? So I think that a lot of people are kind of against the education thing, but definitely with the technology that this gentleman had produced, it really started off from having those foundations in electrical engineering for sure.
And Gabe, do you think I see this a lot. Do you think the mindset was different for him? He kind of came in as a specialist versus coming in as a business owner. But he sounds like he's
absolutely.
Yeah, he's very specialized in a particular thing.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he got blindsided because he wasn't looking at it from a business owner's viewpoint, but more of a specialist viewpoint.
He absolutely did.
But that's what we should do.
If you look at the response from the founder, the Lauren Dunford person, she had mentioned that she said one thing is that Jason Dunford and I had registered the company in the U.S. in March of 2017 and in Kenya in July of 2017. This is prior to Kennedy's employment in September 2017. So that's the individual who actually, quote unquote, developed the technology. They already set up the business in the U.S. and set up the business in Kenya before they brought this brother from the continent on to have a part of the business. So they already had their ducks in line. They already knew the business structure that they were aiming at even before they brought this brother onto the project. So, just like you said, not having that business acumen had really put this brother at a disadvantage, even though he was integral in developing the technology.
But that's what happened to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs got pushed out of his own company, and he was exactly what we just described. I think, man, one of the good habits we probably can learn from this is study. That I think I consider myself a student. I like to buy. I'm always buying audiobooks about people in business and seeing what happened, how they got stabbed, who did what. They forced this guy out. He came back. What did he do? How did he? Because I think I'm always in the back of my mind, I can be there one day. So I need to be prepared to think like this as well. And we need to look at guys like Steve Jobs and stuff. I don't know the whole story with Steve. I just know he was pushed out at one time. So as CEO. So then he came back and the product actually suffered when he left. They don't technically need this brother. If what he just said, if Gabe is what he just said is how that space works, then they can always find somebody else to come in and do that. I don't know if he's a Steve Jobs type talent. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know.
I have a question to the whole panel because I'm on the ideation side, so I'm the blueprint idea guy, and I have to work with developers to execute ideas and making them real. So, do you think when it comes to the ideal of being a specialist or being a business owner, I found in my past a lot of developers, people who are engineering types, they have a hard time crossing that bridge and moving into a new decade. Do you foresee a lot of this happening in our sector? Black men coming together, making businesses, but one person not really understanding that business soft skill piece to navigate appropriately? I think.
You remember Calvin Candy in Django Unchained? Remember the little speech he gave about the skull and how people are easier to lead sometimes? I don't believe that, because of course I'm black too, right? But I think that when it comes to the employee mindset, sometimes, especially black people, middle class, that's doing well, they making 100, 120, they doing okay for themselves. It's hard to get them to want to leave and start their own company. Or I have a friend of mine who's an engineer who developed an engine. He said on a gallon of gas, they can go 200 miles. It was a performance engine. It was not only would it go 200 miles, it was fast. And the two other brothers got hired by, one guy Procter & Gamble and the other guy got hired by GM or something. And he begged those brothers. He's like, man, this motor, this engine would revolutionize everything. Let's see what we can do with it. Those brothers like, hey man, I got a job. I'm making 75. I'm good. And they gave up. I see this a lot. I work in IT. I see a lot of black people. You give a black man 120,000, 110, 75, they set for life. They're not thinking about, you made this guy billions. They don't think like that. They like, yeah, he made billions, but I don't want to go through that headache. I just rather somebody sign the front of the check and I sign the back of the check. That's us. We got to take that L, because that's us.
I think it's different perspectives there, because I do also think that 75, that 100, that 120, that 175, I look at that as just another stream. I mean, you can take that stream that's coming from that business of the person signing the check, and you can add that to other streams that you develop by yourself. So I don't think
I agree with you, Gabe. I wasn't saying that you can't. That's me. You talking about me. I'm just saying that collectively, black people, because I think that's what he was saying. So I was just saying collectively for black people, but yeah, individually, that we should do exactly what you just described. But a lot of people that I see in this space don't, and they're a lot of times in business, a lot of people are just, they don't think like that. A lot of people I see in my industry that are black.
Yeah. And again, to follow up to what you're saying, I asked the question because one, this is an educational platform for other brothers to be listening on a replay. And two, I see more of what Sub is talking about, and rarely do I meet a Gabe or Sub-Zero who are entrepreneurial in mindset, but also have these other skills. And shout out to O'Shea, he creates this space where brothers from around the country and around the world at times can kind of meet each other and figure out how we can leverage each other's talents. But yeah, I come to find out there's a lot more worker mindsets than boss mindsets. Because, Sub would know, he ran a couple of things. You working 7-day weeks just trying to get your thing up and running. I'm working. I'm putting together a website for this pitch thing I got to put together. Working on the pitch deck. So everybody who is entrepreneurial knows that these 7-day weeks, 365-day years, a year when it comes to getting this work done and making it happen. And some people clock out on Friday and get back on it on Monday.
I think another thing that you had mentioned. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but at the same time, not everybody has that mindset to be a business owner. At the end of the day, I mean, yeah. I mean, you just gotta have that mindset. I mean, that's all I was gonna add. I mean, not everybody can just hop out there and do a business on their own or whatever. Like for instance, sometimes you got to be honest with yourself, and I see that in me. I don't see myself as being able to run a business. Now I'm pretty sure I can come in and partner with somebody because I have a lot to bring to the table. But as far as jumping out there on my own, I don't have that mindset or the extra time to actually go out and start a business on my own. Some people just got to be honest. That's all I can say.
Well, let me say this.
Also,
I'm gonna kick back a little bit, and the reason I would say that is this: business to me is like it's a skill that's developed over time, man. I'm still learning my damn self. I fuck up every day. Shit, I'm not doing right. Shit, I should have did this. Most of the people that I've studied in business, they fucked up too. You name them. Sam Walton, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, everybody fucks up. I think we have to get in the fight first. Now, and I think that's where I differ, because I think Dr. Claude Anderson talks about how 1 in 110 Black people are in business. Like, we need a little bit more higher concentration than that. Now, I'm not saying you particularly have to go into business or you're wrong, but just understand that the only way you're going to get good at business is getting in there and fucking up. Just like with basketball, when I first grabbed the basketball, I sucked. Then I wound up playing overseas. It was a lot in between that, playing college basketball at Tuskegee, doing what I did. It took a lot of hard work. Days I got my ass handed to me on the court. Then some days I gave it to somebody and I started getting better and better. And over time, I became decent. But business, I've never met anybody that just a natural, just get in there. They make every right decision. They can see around corners. They know this is going to happen. They know that is going to, it's going to happen. I mean, they say the average millionaire has failed in like 12 businesses by the time he makes his first million. You usually going to be in your 40s and 50s by the time, if you working hard, to become to make that first million. So you're going to have to fail. That's my mentality. I'll file bankruptcy and dig out the hole. And I haven't, but that was a time I considered it. You know what I'm saying? And when I was in flipping houses, they foreclosed on me, and I thought it was going to be on my credit, but it wasn't. But I was like, man, I gotta get all this stuff off me. I got all this money. It's time. It's just a fight. You got to get in it, man.
I do think that there's also an idea that I think that is sold a lot of times in the Black community, that everybody has to be a business owner. I don't think I'm with you, Keep It Techie. I don't think everybody needs to be or wants to be a business owner, right? One is that there is a lot of risk. There's a lot of headache. There's a lot of like dealing with people and certain things. I don't think it's for everybody, but kind of even to Maurice's point earlier, as it concerns specialists, I mean, if you are a specialist, especially if your specialty is something that an organization really needs in order to solve a problem or a solution, or needs it to run their business, they'll pay you like themselves to keep their business going. I mean, there's individuals, ex-Google, ex-Facebook individuals who are literally millionaires from being specialists in being software engineers, who being electrical engineers. So you can really make a lot, or very comparable. I mean, I know individuals making $250,000, $500,000 a year from just that, or even individuals that work for the big four firms, right? With like an Accenture or Deloitte or a PricewaterhouseCoopers. I mean, you can really come in, especially when you get there to that senior manager and director type of roles, you can really be rolling in a lot of money, not necessarily owning a business, but really something that you can really build up and really put away and really grow your own personal desire,
Gabe,
your own personal field. What's that?
Gabe, let me. I hear you, but what I'm saying, and I want to try to. I'm not. I'm going back and forth with you, but because I agree, everybody's not a businessman, but the Black community, as opposed to any other race, has the lowest amount of businesses. So I think we do need to raise that number. I don't even think a lot of us even think like that, though. I think it doesn't even cross our minds. I think we are content not making that 200 and not making what you just said. Because I can see why somebody at that level might think like that. But you got Black people out here making 60 and they good. They like, if I work till I'm 70 and I make $60,000, I'm good with that. And I'm like, man, this guy's paying you 60, but he made millions off your skill. Why would you not think that maybe you could do it yourself? I'm just saying, I think we need a higher concentration, not necessarily every Black person, because Lord knows every Black person should not and cannot go into business. But I do think we need a higher concentration in 1 in 110, because that's pretty bad. That's not even 1%.
And so I definitely agree with you, man. 100% on what you just said. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying if you're passionate about something or if you want to get out there and start a business in something or whatever, then go for it. I'm not saying don't try. You know what I'm saying? I've tried and failed. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, back to kind of what Gabe was saying as well. I mean, everybody just don't have the push and the drive and all that stuff to actually keep going through and trying and failing, and then they'll just give up or whatever, at some point. That's all I'm saying.
People do. No, I don't disagree. I think a lot of people, they'll have something happen and I can't do this. I got a family, I got responsibilities. I'm just saying the Black community collectively needs a higher concentration of businesses than 1 in 110. Now, I think a lot of us have an employee mindset. Like a lot of us don't even think to look. It's like you'll be sitting there and you can see it'll be an opportunity right in your face where you can make millions. This white guy's making millions. As long as he pays you your $1,000 on Friday, you're good. You're not thinking, I'm like, damn, and I see this. I know a guy who runs a company's built their whole system. They probably was paying him 150. And he quit. He called me last week and I said, you quit? I was like, man, I thought you should have quit anyway, bro. Them people would have had to pay you millions to do what you did. He built their whole system. And he was like, yeah, and he used to be an independent contractor. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna start going back out here doing that because I actually made way more money than what they were paying me anyway.
And to follow up, and I think that conversation on more people being business minded, that's happening now because of these spaces. Younger brothers, older brothers on playback are going to hear this conversation. They're going to go to the website submission. They're going to be Gabe. I'm sure that you've gotten emails or direct questions about cybersecurity. Keep it techy. And to your point, I think having the discernment and the understanding of what you're good and not good at is a vital thing, because to everybody's point, there are going to be business leaders and there are going to be people who are highly specialized who get paid a lot of money for what they do. And both are fine because they're all needed. So I think that's happening now. And so there, it's happening to you in real time in your business model. You're getting a rush of people who are coming out of one thing, who are being educated in another thing, and they're competing in a brand new space. And it's going to take time. Maybe the next 10, 20 years, we'll see the change everybody's talking about in very incremental ways. But, it's going to take time. And I think this is a good way to start.
I don't think we were in opposition. I think everybody was in agreement.
Yep.
Not everybody's a businessman. I don't believe that. I don't think that. Some people are just investors. You should be one of them.
That's an idea. I do think
you just don't do either.
I was gonna say, I do think that's an idea that's heavily sold in the Black community, especially in like Black churches, right? Be an owner, be a leader. own your own business. And again, not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I don't think it's for everybody. Is pretty much what my main point is. And you know, I just really think that whatever you do, whether you are a business owner, whether you are an individual who is a specialist, or you're being good at what you're doing, I think you need to be the best at it, right? I think that that's really the conversation that's very important. Being better than your competition, or being better than those other individuals who are in your field. I think that that's really the should be the strong focus at whether you, no matter what you desire to do, being better than the next guy, or as best as you possibly can with your ability.
I want to go back a half a block and pick up something that that Sub-Zero said about investing, and I'm happy that you brought that up. To everybody's point, everybody can't get things done. Everybody can't, you know, a lot of people need to be specialists. But what I will get on top of black folk on is investing into their own. If you got their residual income, if you got the eyeball for somebody who's making those moves as a business person, and if you can't be a business owner, invest into another. You don't have to be the guy running the ship, but you might be the guy that can provide the funding, expertise, or time to get the next brother out the gate. So I will get on everybody about, you know, being more invested, invest more into us. I will get on everybody about that. Because I don't think our dollar don't stay, our money don't stay long in our community. And then I think we can change that around in 10 years.
Yeah, I got to head out. Yeah, thanks for having me, y'all.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, and
All right.
and then going back to what, and I went to that website, Sub-Zero. Man, some of them jobs are minimum starting at $150 a year remote. I saw a remote gig for $150 a year, right? So if you're gonna be making that much money as a specialist, man, gotta rethink this thing. We gotta start putting money into either, you know, like Andre Hatchett, shout out to Andre Hatchett, you know, doing investment clubs with a brother like that when it comes to stocks, bonds, and real estate. Or maybe you have connections on how to get a real estate trust put together. But all that being said is like, it's different ways to come into this space and to contribute. And I think this is our decade to do that.
Yeah, I think real estate will be a good avenue for some people. Everybody's not going to be a business owner. Some people can buy quadruplexes up to 20 units. That's what I would do if I wasn't doing what I was doing. You know, buy multifamily units. I would do that. Or, you know, I would at least go hard and max out your damn investments into your mutual funds and 401k. At least do that. You know, something. But if we all did something, we wouldn't have any. We would fix our own problems overnight. I think most of the problems we have are economic, and we would fix them if we all had that mentality. Black people are the least likely to invest in their 401k out of all other races. Black people tend to. So it's just you know what I'm saying, it's a bad storm. We don't invest. I'm talking about those that are educated that even have that option in good jobs. We don't invest in those. We don't have the businesses in our community. A lot of us don't even think that way. I think it's good people think like that. I think it's good that people hear that. One day it'll sink in. If it's a church, good. But I think a lot of people from me, man, I mean, everybody got different walks of life experiences, but I just don't believe that most Black people think ownership. They don't. Just if they did, we would be forced, because we think basketball and we run the NBA. We think football and we run the NFL. If we thought business like we thought basketball or football, if every Black man that didn't make it came into the community and gave back to kids like we do at AAU sports, we did that same with business, where would we be? I think we have a bad report card that we need to look in the mirror and say, hey, this is where we're messing up. I don't think not. Once again, I'm not saying everybody needs to have a business, but I damn sure believe everybody needs to handle their business, be it investing or business. That's just me. Y'all have a good one, man. I gotta go. I got some food down here, man. God bless y'all, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right, man. You have a good night.
All right, Sub-Zero. Have a good night, man.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely agree with what he just said. That's why I pushed the whole programming thing, as far as Python, learning Python, and just getting one of these young black boys to actually create some type of tech startup. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, it's just something I think we underrepresented in, and we really need to get into it as fast as possible before we get left behind. And then especially in this new tech industry, you know, there's all these different tech industries that's popping up. So,
I think what I've seen, and I worked in DC, Cali, Texas. What I've seen that we don't create spaces to have those conversations. I mean, we're having one now, but physical places or long-term game plans on working together. I go to a lot of meetup groups where I meet Black folk in tech a lot in the Atlanta area, and a lot of the times everybody doesn't have a strategy mindset. People are coming to hang out, people are coming to chill, people are coming to kind of show off what they worked on, but no one's coming together to create an opportunity to create long-term business strategies. And a lot of it is just, and I'm realizing, and I'm enjoying the space on YouTube, a lot of us don't trust each other. A lot of us don't get along, and circling it back around to the core of the conversation. A lot of us don't walk into business partnerships with each other with a level of understanding and trust. And I think moving forward, when it comes to working with other men of color, when it comes to building businesses, I don't think the ideas are going to be the problem. I think that our temperaments are going to be a problem. I think our kind of thinking long term is going to be a problem. And ideally, we're going to have to, I'm trying my best to work with Black men and humble what I do, because I know there's a lot of baggage in business for a lot of us. A lot of us have been screwed over. A lot of us have had bad clients. A lot of us just don't do business the right way. And but I do want to work with my people, and I do want to work with my brothers, and I got to have an understanding of that going in. That is not going to be perfect. I think Kevin Samuel said this: "We're building the plane while flying," and just to be flexible to understand that everything ain't gonna be perfect. We work together. We are gonna fail, and then we're gonna learn and grow from it. And it won't be perfect the first time out the gate. And I think if we had that discernment and that understanding, I think we can build a couple of things together. But like the example that the brother said from the email, you had a really smart brother who was really hyper focused on what he was doing, really not understand the other pieces of the company that was moving around, and he got caught up. And I've been there, and I'm sure other people have been there also, and just kind of look at it in a very pragmatic way that. The one of the things I stress to a lot of my design students is, and because I teach front end design and I teach visual design on the side. There's a difference between being a visual designer and being a business that has visual design as a service. And you can apply that to anything. You can be I'm a DBA, or I am a business that has DBA services, a service offering. The mindsets are two different planes. And when you kind of shift yourself into the, I'm gonna operate as a business, it kind of moves things different. And you kind of, I don't know, you're not as close to what you do when you're thinking like a business owner. And it took me a minute to get here, a minute. Because I took everything to heart when stuff went wrong. Because I put sweat, equity, and tears into this, and effort, and it didn't go the right way. And to this day, I have business partners that I'll never talk to be real with you, and it's probably a sign of my immaturity. But I think I'm good in talking to brothers. Bro, I gotta keep it real with you, man. I got two brothers that I'm thinking about right now that if we was in the same room, I would walk out. That's how bad it was. I was like, I gotta go, man. It's going. I don't want the police to be called. I gotta go. And I think that's a lot of it. So I'm sorry. You were saying something?
No, I was just saying, yeah.
Oh, and then when you had your experience, and feel free to ask me some questions. When you had your experience, what was when you tried to start your web design company? What was the challenges? Was it Was it finding clientele? Was it finding people to work with?
It was mainly finding clientele. I had a very tough time, trying to get clients. And I'm not a sales guy. I know. I mean, that's one of my weaknesses right there. That's kind of like my main weakness, in my opinion, that I've been working on. I'm not a sales guy. I never been able to, talk to somebody and get them to actually, purchase a service or a product that I'm trying to provide to them. Because I'm just not that good at it, to be honest. So I mean,
yeah, and bro, the thing I would recommend, because I'm in that space too, right? The thing I would recommend is, do you know how an advertising firm or PR firm, do you know what they do?
yeah. I mean, they just help you and guide you along with marketing, whatever services you got. But they're very expensive.
Oh no, they're a little bit bigger. They're the people who manage the budgets for a lot of the companies in your area when it comes to marketing and public relations for the face of their company. And I mention that to you is because they need people like you if you can approach them the right way. Because you could be a third-party vendor or advertising agency or PR firm when it comes to doing what you do. And that'll move you from B2C, business to client, which is extremely hard. And that'll probably move you to B2B. So you would be a backdoor vendor for a client, for a bigger company that'll do all the stuff that you don't have expertise in. And that might be something to rethink later on when you're ready for it. But bro, you need it. Yeah,
see,
a lot of those companies.
See, I have the skills, man. You know what I'm saying? I was just saying. I mean, I have the skills. It's the skills is not the issue at all. You know what I'm saying? I've been in IT for over 10 years. I've done network administration, systems administration. I even tried to, expand the business to where I can, try to contract out those services as well. But it just didn't work. And this was like 2010 when I did this, when I started that business, and so about 10 years.
What's your current market right now? What part of the country you're in?
I'm actually in Las Vegas, Nevada. I live in Las Vegas. I work in San Diego though. I know it's weird, but yeah. No,
I was in Cali. Yeah, no, bro, you're in the if you got time, be honest with you, man. Just start collecting a list of advertising agencies, and even if it's a part-time or a contract, to get into an organization to see how it works. Like the biggest thing is if you could get a part-time job with a PR advertising firm, just doing front-end development, just understanding how the whole operation works, that'll give you insight on how to maneuver yourself to become a B2B person when it comes to that kind of business. You gotta get in. I'm actually a DBA. I work for the government. So I already have a job. I'm sorry I might have misspoke a certain way or misunderstood what you was saying, what you was asking me. But yeah, I do have a job making over, making six figures doing DBA work. So What I'm saying is, if you decide to ever think about it again.
I got you.
And it, even if not you, for the brothers that are listening, especially if you do the front end development piece, because like I'm a designer, but I do front end code, so I do the CSS, HTML, JavaScript, React stuff, right? But because I got experience on the design side, but I can also do front end development, so I'm a unique in the space because I can do both. But there's a ton of money made, and for the brothers who are listening, there are opportunities because it is hard as hell to go B2C. It is very hard, but B2B, if you can be a vendor for somebody, man, that'll change the game for you. You just got to know how to approach and who to go talk to. And from my understanding of working, one of my mentors is a PR. He used to run Burrell Communications in Chicago. The PR and ad agencies, they control the budgets. Those are the first people you will start with. Start with them first. For the people who are listening, trying to start your own thing, go to them first, because they even as a database administrator, bro, they need you. They need you. You know, they may not understand what they need you for, but hitting somebody up or meeting the key people, for the brothers who are listening, you know, those people control billions of dollars in budgets when it comes to Fortune 50 and 500 companies. So there's things to think about. Hey, O'Shea, what's going on, man?
Looks like he's frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Am I frozen?
You're not your organ. No, you sound better. It's when you go on camera, that's when it slows down.
All right, let me go ahead and let me just do this because I gotta go to the next stream. But hold on, let me shout everybody out, man. I apologize.
No, you good, bro.
And for whatever reason, my internet is fast. It's at 30-something megabits per second, but StreamYard, for whatever reason, is tripping. So I don't know, man. StreamYard.
Have you thought about Zoom? Or it doesn't work out.
Okay, let me shout out to Everyday Valet. I don't think the indoctrination of owning a business is popular in the Black community. We need to work change it. Thank you, brother. Grateful Living. I'm a specialist in process automation, looking for my skill. Life for a business. For those who don't want a business, don't ever complain about your job ever. I don't want to hear it. Rents Turner. A hobby of making album covers in Photoshop for friends as a teen is now a manager putting cross-functional flowchart and control processes years later. Every facet of engineering is covered in manufacturing. In Dallas, there is a whole tribe of us brothers that are eating good in industry. Thank you, brother Rents Turner. Spiritual Logic, aka Hulk. Business knows no race, but partner. Around. Thank you, brother. Go Saints. Thank you for $50. Uncle Markel, have a great night. Thank you. Oh, before you must have a proper business structure to pick your ideas. The law will protect you if you do everything properly from the beginning. Tony Davis, thank you. This is why we have contracts. People never read anything. This is why people keep getting P. Diddy. PM, thank you. Tangeray, thank you. Guys, listen, it was a great show. Go ahead and shout yourself out because my StreamYard is really bugging, man. So it's really messing up with my stream. But go ahead. Any last words, brothers?
Oh, no, man. Yo, O'Shea, appreciate you for making space for a watering hole for brothers just to kind of share ideas, brain dump, and just and to be open with each other. I really appreciate you for everything that you're doing, man.
All right. Thank you so much. And keep it taking. We definitely gonna build, brother. Keep it taking. Hopefully this week, man. Definitely this week.
Okay.
Definitely this week.
Okay. Yeah. And
man, I've been just so much. You know, since when I come to Africa, I'm here working. I'm not here kicking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely make time, you know what I'm saying, so we can get together. But yeah, man, I'm just pushing this IT stuff on people, on the young black kids, young black boys, men, you know, all that good stuff. So STEM, that's all I, talk about. No, on my channel, I talk about Linux, which is totally different. You know, it's a different operating system. So, I mean, check me out if y'all want to. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
All right. Shout out to brother Matt Blaylock. Okay, bro. Thank you so much. And guys, we will be bringing you more of these shows. Sorry about I haven't been streaming or doing too much of that stuff as of late, man. I'm getting ready for an exam. I gotta take an oral on. So I'm here on the continent working. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff, and time is very, 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 very small right now, man. I've never been this busy before in my life. So with a new project and setting up things, and I'm trying to get it, man. I'm trying to make it happen. So guys, thank you for your support. I'm gonna go ahead and knock this Rumble out now. Hopefully my internet is good enough, and we're gonna go back and talk about these sex dolls. But wait a minute. Yeah, sex doll time. Peace out.